Let's play Burlington's Guess That Price. Back to school means back to saving. We're bringing you kids' jeans starting at, hold on a minute, just $11.99. Burlington's acing this test. What about character backpacks? We've got them starting at $12.99. Burlington's done it again. How about sneakers for the kids? A-plus brands and right on trend starting at $11.99. Saving is now in session. Burlington, deals, brands, wow!
Styles and selections vary by location.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Optimal Work Daily, Distractions and the Open Office Environment by Laura Stack of theproductivitypro.com. Many workplaces today feature more open spaces and smaller and often shared workstations. These open floor plans have become the new normal in many organizations. Some people speak of them positively, citing the ability to collaborate with coworkers and the creative feeling they can inspire. However, I hear just as many complaints about the walk-in visitors, interruptions, and noise level negatively affecting workplace satisfaction, productivity, and speech privacy. According to research from UC Irvine, office workers are interrupted once every 11 minutes, and it can take up to 23 minutes to get back to what you were doing before you were interrupted. The brain isn't a marvel of infinite capacity. We are, after all, only human, with all the limitations that implies. One limitation lies in our capacity to process what's happening in the world around us, everything from the room temperature to the quality of the lighting. When you're trying to focus on a task and overhear a hallway conversation, even when you're not meaning to, you lose track of what you were doing. In a recent study presented to the International Congress of Noise as a Public Health, researchers found that on average, employees wasted 21.5 minutes per day due to conversational distractions, which, based upon an 8-hour day, is about 4% of an average day. If you have 100 employees at an average of $50,000 each, you're losing $200,000 a year in lost productivity, and 21.5 minutes is a conservative estimate. An additional 2014 Steelcase Ipsos study found that employees lost as much as 86 minutes per day due to noise distractions. Most people just accept it and learn to adapt, somewhat. They do fairly well by adopting actions that, quote-unquote, distract the distractions, mainly by listening to music or simply by wearing noise-reducing headphones. But just because they've adapted doesn't mean they achieve peak performance on a regular basis. Even though open office environments can seem noisy, a quiet, library-like working environment won't create a productive workspace either. The low level of background noise in a quiet environment allows noise distractions to contrast more dramatically with the quiet, causing a greater distraction than if the space had a higher level of background noise. For example, think about being in a library. If someone whispers, you tune right into it. If your workplace is too quiet, you'll be more distracted by conversations because you'll be able to hear a proverbial pin drop. A few alternatives. Lacking volume controls for your coworkers, and wouldn't that be great? You have little choice but to try to reduce noise and create freedom from conversational distractions. Chat with your team about some of the ways to accomplish this in your office. 1. Use a signal. If several people in your department are having problems with drop-in visitors, agree on a signal that communicates to others, "Please don't interrupt me unless it's an emergency." A manager I worked with at Coca-Cola had an open door policy. He wanted his employees to feel comfortable talking to him about anything, anytime. Unfortunately, he rarely could find time to get his work done. At his next staff meeting, he explained the problem that he was having. He said that when he had a deadline, he would put on his red Coca-Cola baseball cap. His door would remain open in case there was an emergency, but he would prefer employees didn't interrupt him during those times. He reported it worked like a charm. Get together with your department and agree on a signal everyone will use consistently. Installing curtains across the cubicle door, turning your nameplate around, wearing orange armbands, partially closing the door. One group I worked with found that coworkers respected the signal about 80% of the time. When I questioned the people who said others weren't respecting their signals, it turns out they never took down their signals. They were never available to their coworkers, so their coworkers simply ignored their signals. If you use this system, make sure you don't abuse it. 2. Increase background noise to mask the sound. What? Increasing background noise, called sound masking, seems counterintuitive. Think of it like this. While I'm standing at the kitchen sink with the water running and my son starts talking to me from across the house, I can tell that he's talking to me, but I can't make out what he's saying. It's not that he's talking less loudly. The water is actually masking the sound of his voice or covering it up. Adding sound makes speech less intelligible. When you can't understand what someone is saying, their words are less distracting. In fact, you probably don't even notice them. Sound masking systems, such as the QT Pro system by Cambridge Sound Management, mimics this phenomenon on a much more sophisticated and effective scale. By adding a continuous, low-level ambient sound to an environment that sounds similar to the sound of airflow, excess speech noise in the environment is masked, making it less distracting. Systems like QT Pro make it so that you can comfortably have a conversation with someone at the next cube without being concerned that it will be heard by someone 40 feet away, and vice versa. 3. Consider the physical layout of your office. Does your desk face a door or a hallway? Humans are curious beings. When someone walks by, it's our nature to look up to see who just passed. If that person catches your eye, you might involuntarily smile. Not wanting to be rude, the other person smiles back and awkwardly says, "Hi, how are you?" and enters your office because it would seem rude to not get a real answer, even though "how are you" isn't actually a question. Congratulations, you just bought yourself an easy 10-minute interruption. One solution is to rotate your desk or change the layout of your cubicle so that your back is facing the door. If someone walks by and sees that you're busy, they're less likely to interrupt you, but not always. As an added benefit, you focus longer on the work in front of you. If you can't rotate your desk completely around, try at least to work sideways and use a computer screen or cabinet to block your peripheral view to the corridor. And 4. Seek solitude. Rather than just assume the majority should rule, smart office designers and managers provide opportunities for people to find the solitude if they need to work undisturbed. Similarly, workplace architects have begun to recognize the need to provide spaces for both people seeking to be around others and those seeking to get away from them. A practical solution involves providing small group workrooms where those seeking concentration and/or teams of 3 or fewer can retreat when necessary. If no such facilities exist, open conference rooms can take their place. The bottom line. Managers should contemplate how to enable better focus in the workplace, such as installing a sound masking system. As a last resort, take desperate measures. Put on your noise-canceling earphones and listen to music. You just listened to the post titled Distractions and the Open Office Environment by Laura Stack of theproductivitypro.com.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
So, you're about to make a trade based on a friend's text. But which you do you listen to? Is it, we could buy a house in Tulum? Get optioning those options. We could lose everything. Or, let's do a little research. Get your head in the trade and make the investment decision that's right for you. Learn more at finra.org/trade-smart.
And thank you to Laura, who is an award-winning keynote speaker and the best-selling author of 8 books. Obviously, she's known as the Productivity Pro for good reason. Her engaging personality, combined with over 25 years of experience helping organizations achieve results, have made her one of the most sought-after experts and keynote speakers in her field. Laura has been featured in the New York Times, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Entrepreneur, and Forbes magazine, and has been a spokesperson for Microsoft, Danone, 3M, Office Depot, Xerox, and more. And if that wasn't enough, her client list includes top Fortune 500 companies like Starbucks, Walmart, Bank of America, GM, Wells Fargo, and Time Warner, plus government agencies such as the United States Air Force Academy, the Census Bureau, the U.S. Senate, and the IRS. So there's quite a lot to learn from her, and you can come by theproductivitypro.com for a lot more. She's got her videos, books, store, newsletter, and blog all right there for you. Again, that's theproductivitypro.com. But that's it for today here on the show. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here, and I will be back reading to you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.